Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Blue Collar Hustle. And today is extra special. Today, I might get emotional today.
Aw.
I might say things out of cuff that might be different from the other guests because we have a very, very, very special guest. Today is the one and only Mrs. Simpson. Simpson here. It's a recent Simpson, but Simpson nonetheless. We recently just got married. We're going to go through today a whole bunch of topics related to marriage and relationships and money and business and whatever it is that might be intertangled into a blue-collar lifestyle when you're running it with your missus. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
We're grabbing hands.
We're in this together.
We're in this together. Let's do this. So today... It is corny. Is it corny? Oh, the rookie's still here. The rookie is here.
You guys can't see me, but I'm here.
Oh, my gosh. He's here. Because we took the mic. We put it to the most important person of the day, the missus. So we're going to jump right into it. Right into it. I said it right in the beginning. We recently got married. And it was very untraditional, I would say. A little backwards.
You know.
Kind of, not really. I don't know. What's your percentage? I'm going to do it, and you can fill in. So we were together for 10 years already,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
2 kids in
Yeah.
in the home, full
Well, yes,
life
in that
moving,
case, yes, very
full life
traditional.
and going. And life finally just caught up to us, and we said, we're getting married. Because we got engaged before COVID.
Yes. 2019, COVID happened, and we also had another baby. And
COVID baby.
COVID baby, yeah.
Nice.
That was fun.
It was fun.
It was.
I enjoyed the beginning part of it. Yeah.
Pretty sure you did.
Yeah. No, that was an excellent part of the experience for me. No, but I love the family thing, and I love growing this whole business and entity. And I grew up, and this is so familiar to me, and I'm sure it's super familiar to a lot of blue collar people, because a lot of blue collar people spike off of the family dynamic. They spike off of watching their moms or dads or uncles or whatever doing a business. And that's how I was. I watched my mom and dad run it for decades while running the home, while maintaining my childhood, which I have no problems with. I had a great childhood. Dare I say, probably a little too good, because I ended up being an asshole
Very
in my teenage years.
blessed to say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here we are on our own endeavor, now married, now running a business
Newly
together.
newly minted married couple.
Yes, and running a business, established, we're doing well, things are going up, but they weren't always that good. Even
Yeah,
before.
there's been some ups and downs, personally and business wise. But
What is the one thing that you would tell somebody that is a woman that is involved with a blue collar hustler guy there that biggest advice in that movement towards marriage, specifically if you're involved in the business?
I'm not sure, actually. I'm not good with those types of questions. But if I had to give somebody advice, just know going into it that it's not going to be easy, but it's rewarding. It's very rewarding if you really get deep into the intricacies of working together as a couple, as a business, and husband and wife. You take it home with you. You don't just clock out of work and focus on other things. It's sometimes you get home and you're still talking about work, and you go to bed and you're talking about it. And sometimes it can get a little frustrating.
Can I tell you
Frustrating,
something? The
but-
last 30 seconds I wasn't listening to, and I was just looking at your face and your eyes. Is that weird?
Aw.
Rookie, is that weird?
That's not weird, brother, but stop it. We
It's going to be one of those episodes. I'm going to have to focus. It's going to be rough.
I know you had fun making those skits, but
It's going to be rough. But I'm going to be honest with you. I have fun doing business with her as well. Not that kind of business, the money kind. And I'm going to help you right now. I want you to pretend like we are nowhere, no cameras on us. These mics aren't here. And we're going to go take a pause. Pause, like we always do. We cheers here.
Oh, okay.
Today is a tequila day, like every other day. And cheers to loosen the old mojo up here. That's when we should have like a little drinking sound. That would be great. So I'm going to ask the same exact question again. What's the shittiest thing that happened to you during when we were when you were finally figuring out that, oh fuck, I'm like in a business now. I'm married to this guy now. I'm whatever. Like the things that was like the worst that you had to overcome, and you never thought that you would even be in that
Yeah,
position.
honestly, I had to overcome myself. I was the biggest obstacle in my own way because I was resisting for a while, resisting doing what you wanted and needed me to do in the business. I think I had it in my mind that I still had a choice, and I kind of realized after fighting it for so long that I made it my own. I owned it. And once I owned it,
You became
then
boss lady.
I became boss lady.
You became boss lady.
And I think
Yep.
the biggest part of that is realizing that why I fought it is because I didn't have the confidence in myself. I didn't believe in myself. As much as you tried to build me up, I didn't have that because I didn't feel like, no, this is not me. No, you're talking about somebody else. You want me to be somebody else. Like I didn't feel like I fit into that.
Now, what do you say to the people
Role.
though that are already are pouring with confidence from the woman's side, and you have another confident person, and they have to try to mix. That's a different ingredient.
Oh well, that's like you and like Ed in the office. You're both mavericks. When
That's,
you
that's
took that-
PI. That's PI words. That we
Those
just
are PI
used.
words.
That's
Yes.
for another episode.
No, I know, but I think that when you have like very similar personalities, you could butt heads, sure, but you could be a power couple too. Just
could
as
be.
a different dynamic of a power couple.
We're going to say this. Do you think that business workings affect the intimacy in a marriage relationship?
Only if you let them.
That's a great answer. But when you let them, when you don't try to let them, they still happen, right? Stuff still happens.
Stuff still happens,
Shitty
yeah.
work
But
days
that's with
pour into the home.
life. Yeah, that
So
can
what do you do
happen
with
with
it?
life,
What do
with
you do with
anything.
it?
You
What do you
do
do?
what you do with anything. You communicate. Communication is the best way to work through any issues that arise.
Amazing.
That's
Amazing.
I think that's our
I think
strong
it's also
suit.
it's all good that I'm a talker.
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like that's pretty much the foundation of our relationship is you are a heavy communicator. You brought me out of my shell. When I first met you,
So
I
you would say
didn't- yeah.
say that anybody that's in a marriage or in a relationship that's in a blue collar world, and if the wife or a girlfriend or a partner or whatever is involved in that business, that you got to keep on communicating and talking, otherwise you're gonna shit the bed. Yes,
Yeah.
maybe.
At,
right?
at the very
What
least,
if you
it's a
got-
good start.
What if you got somebody like me who doesn't take no for an answer too well?
The way I handle that is I laugh it off and I chip away at you and I see if I can get you to move. If I can't, then so be it. A lot of
You
times
compromise. You
I
compromise.
compromise.
You
Yeah, I
compromise.
compromise, but I never compromise. So much so that I am giving up my things that are important to me. Obviously.
So I'll tell you what this whole blue collar hustle world has taught me to use some of the things that I have. I'm actually a pretty good talker, pretty good communicator. I like to be transparent about what's happening on a day-to-day, be it business or home life or the kids and things like that. It's guys' biggest thing that they're not good at. I just might have a little special tool for that. Yes? What do you think?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sure, bro.
See, he's super supportive of me today. But like,
No, I hear that a lot. I hear
Yeah,
that like
so-
men, like almost everything on my like For You page is men who don't know how to communicate, and the wives are just like dying and starving for like
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Did she just say For You page?
yeah,
You know what's For You page? That's TikTok.
yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right now, she came into the Gen Z's type of.
Oh, I'm sorry. TikTok is a Gen Z thing.
Is
Yes.
it?
Yes, it is.
Did they define it as Gen Z?
It is, I think it is.
Oh, so I'm not allowed on there anymore.
No,
You
get
are.
off.
But
Get
when
off
you
with your
spoke about
with your ankle socks and
You heard about the ankle socks, right?
yeah. What else? I don't know. What else did they give us? I don't know. Something. Ankle socks.
I
Me-
don't pay
It's a-
attention to. I think that's corny too.
what? Ankle socks?
Nah, when they speak about you're a Gen Z or this and that, or you're a this and I think that's corny. We all the same. Do whatever you want with your life. I don't give a fuck what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what he just did there?
What?
He spoke very, very Gen Z.
You think that's Gen Z-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, he did it.
What's Gen Z about it?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. So meanwhile, today I talk about business, right? I had a conversation today about. I do this a lot.
With who?
I call it M&Ming. Ooh.
You just said,
Oh.
you said,
I mean, that's an important context for me.
Ooh, yeah. Let's dive there. So with who? It was with.
With them.
It was them here in the
Okay.
office, right? So there's some crossovers. We got the business and the podcast. The things are all intermixed and whatnot. So yes, it was with them. And I do this a lot. I try to say like I M&M myself, and I
Yeah.
M&M the situation.
I don't know if everybody knows what
They
Eminem
don't. We're gonna talk about
means.
that.
Okay.
One of my favorite guys, little Eminem, little Slim Shady, in the 8th Mile. When he's in the battle rap, he uses everything negative that anybody could say about him or negative about the situation, and uses it in a rap communication to then defuse the possibility of having there being hostility. Essentially, mic dropping him. There's nothing to be said now
Yeah.
about the bullshit. Let's talk about the problem.
Yeah.
So like I do that a lot.
It's a good strategy.
Yeah, I do that with the kids. I do that with everything essentially at this point, and I call it M&Ming. So I like to do that in the business when we talk. I think that's been a strength of mine for anybody out there with the little tips. Like, just put it all out on the table. Like, you gotta own. Like, if you're like a blue collar guy, that you might be amazing on the 9 to 5, work your ass off, but in this world, it doesn't stop. Like as soon as the 5 to 9 starts, it's now family life, relationship time, and you got to do the same kind of communication. And sometimes you don't want to. We have a routine. I come home. I have a pause.
Oh.
We have a pause. I have a beverage. We collaborate.
Reconvene.
Reconvene, something, the day, the afternoon, the evening, and then we go attack that together. But like a lot of people, they don't. If you're a guy and you come home and you plop and just like use that excuse, I worked all day, I did this, I did that. Well, all right. Are you dead now? Like what happened? You're still.
Can't, I mean, like, I understand the need to like maybe disconnect from your day. People have that. That's normal. That's understandable. But
in this dynamic,
I was gonna say
maybe are different. You got 2 career people. You come home, work's over, peace, quiet, whatever you have you. But in that blue collar life, when you have the missus was just sitting at the desk across from you or on the phone from you all day, knows everything that's going on. There isn't much chit chat. How was your day, honey? It was. It's like we already know.
Yeah.
And so we got to go right
There's
into
some
parenthood.
days. There's some days where we're so busy, we're so focused. You know, even though obviously we're married, sometimes it feels like we work together, but when we come home, it feels like we're 2 different people. Like, you know, like that was the work version of us, and then there's the home version of us, and I like to separate those 2 in my mind of like, you know, yeah, we could talk about these things, but I want to address
They
you
almost
first.
sound different.
I like to sometimes address you first, like, oh, honey, even though I saw you all day, hey, there you are.
We do
you know?
we do a gaudy. We do
Yeah.
we do a little corny greeting whenever I come
Yeah.
in the door. Honey, I'm home. Like we make it
like
we
as
make
if I
it
didn't
corny.
see you all day.
Yeah, honey,
But-
and then we come running to each other. You know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's the newlywed part, but I will pause and say that we've been doing that way before.
Yeah.
We made it a thing. So like if you have to really communicate and make it a thing of the I hate to say that work-life balance thing, but it exists.
Work-life
but like
balance
I
is
like to
real.
make it fun inside of things, because if we don't have any humor or fun or I don't want to say, just like breathe, take a minute.
Yeah.
You still got to do all these things, but take a minute and be fun with it, you know. And sometimes you're not going to get to everything at the end of the day once you get home, but you know, parenthood is a world of its own, whole nother job of its own.
Second
Here's-
shift.
we're going to say another thing right now. Again, I talk to the guys a lot out there, the blue collar guys that just might be just, oh, wow, my wife this, my wife that, or I don't have the support. It's a lot on you out there to say what you want, to say what's needed, to be vulnerable. I know it sounds, weak sometimes. Some of the guys out there, if you're vulnerable or if you share an emotion, it's weak. And then some of you ladies, you might not allow the guy to have a safe platform to do it, so he just stays shelled up. So you're not going to have success there. You want to level up? Be vulnerable. Be vulnerable over a drink. Be vulnerable over a date night. Just be open in communication. The rookie has a question.
Talk about your wedding, guys. You guys recently got married after 10 years or however long you guys had.
At the 10-year mark, actually.
Okay.
We literally did it on the 10-year mark of meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and in the same month, and we just decided to do it. The wedding. Yeah, no, the wedding was for us. The wedding was so very important, but not for what you might think. Oh, all weddings are important. All marriages are important.
Mm-hmm.
For us, it carried a lot of weight because we had a lot of ugliness happen. Not our own makings per se,
Yeah.
but we are a blended family. And that had a lot of things happen to us.
With
So
that comes its own challenges.
yeah, so you talk about owning a business, also working it with your wife, also working it with your own kids, also working it with kids from previous marriages
and the exes.
And their
yeah.
mothers and fathers. It's challenging. So our wedding held a much different value.
Yeah, I was
to-
gonna say
to
a
me.
different weight to it.
Mm.
I
I loved it.
yeah.
It was a small, intimate wedding.
Mhm.
It was on the top of the mountains. We were looking like we were in heaven up there.
Oh, yeah.
The weather was perfect. The kids were all dressed nice. It was very small, very intimate. As we're getting older a little bit here, the circle kind of dwindles. So it was very close people there, and it couldn't have been more perfect.
Couldn't have been more meaningful for us and our lives and the people that know us. Everybody that was there has seen our journey from the very beginning. And,
That's what I like the
and,
most.
And I think especially a lot of the people, if not, I think all of them knew us before we knew each other. So that was very special to me because I think that, they understood, everybody that was there at our wedding understood just how important we are to each other and what, how much better our lives have been since we've been together and what we've built, our kids, our family, how important all of that is.
And we did
To
it with
both of us.
We did it with intention this time. It wasn't a scheduled event that we just put on our calendar.
Oh yeah.
It
no.
was very intentional.
Mm-hmm.
It meant a lot building up to that moment, not just the act of it. It felt a lot like I'll be corny. It felt like a lot like a dream that was coming to life.
Mhm.
And this is where I get weird, because I get like in my soul a little bit about love. I'm very family guided on my decisions on how I move things, and I wanted the kids that both ours and the blended part of the family to have us be like a little nucleus, even though there are other
Mm-hmm.
parents are doing their thing. No shame, no nothing, whatever like that. But we were like the little nucleus.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
our house was like
I definitely feel like it's like that
Yeah.
for them, and I'm proud of us for
high five.
for accomplishing that for our kids because I feel like you and I both have that I don't want to say like the hang up or whatever it is. I know for sure for me, I want to be at least the bedrock, the center, like you said, the nucleus of our family. And if they branch out, if they move away, if they're not as close, but I just want them to know that they can always come back to home. Home is where we are. We'll have our Thanksgiving dinners and holidays together, and I just want to be that pillar of stability and strength and love and family for them because I feel like that's not something that I personally had in my life.
I felt
it's
you just
very important.
You just hit it right there. Is our stability, is letting the kids, because the kids are watching. They
Yeah.
always say that out there,
Yeah.
right? Your kids are watching. They might listen, but they're watching more than they're listening.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt like our marriage for our family's dynamic, even for the other
Mm-hmm.
families, we're looking like,
Yeah. I mean, more than words is actions that they see,
yeah.
and that's what they'll hold on to. in the long run. You know, that's what you had with your parents. You know,
That's a different animal.
Oh, I'm just saying, like
That's
the
a different
stability
generation.
of course, definitely,
But
but
from a child's eyes,
Yes.
I view it. Now, as an adult, when I peeled back the onion and unpacked a lot of the
well, no one's
stories
perfect.
from my mom and dad, you know, my adult version of what what I saw is different than what my childhood
But
person.
nevertheless, in your youth, growing up when you're young, like that
Hmm.
is you know, it's pure. What it instilled in you is the love of being raised with that, you know, mom and dad. This is home. You know, that's really important when you're that young and impressionable as a child
Hmm.
to have that in those core years, right? Don't you think? Would you agree?
I do.
You know,
That's why I
because
wanted to
life
do it.
happens when
Honestly.
you grow up, you know, but if you have that in your formative years, I think that goes a long way in forming a solid foundation for who you are as a person. You're secure.
Hmm.
I think that's so important to have.
I
And
agree.
I want to have that for our boys. And
I
for
agree, and I believe that's
kids.
kind of like why I was able to harness some of my like little abilities on how to communicate. Little piece of how mom acts, a little piece of how dad acts.
Yeah.
Sprinkle a little bit of my own
Of
genetics
your
in
own,
there.
yep.
Solid little hybrid of a human being. Would you say, Rookie?
Yeah.
You know, he's you know he's
You know what it is? I was thinking of a question in my mind that I wanted to ask,
Hmm.
and right there you hit me with your is right, Rookie. I'm like, what? I didn't hear what
yeah,
you
no,
said,
he's
bro.
not there, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we're in our own little bubble, which again you got to get into. If you don't separate the whole outside world noise, you're gonna get all clobbered up with other people chatting about this, about that. You know, it's so hard. Money is always a problem. I went through the worst money problems ever in my life. Lost fucking everything.
I know.
You
In,
guys put together?
no,
No.
no.
Well, how'd she know? Oh, you told her.
I told her. I try to tell her all the stories, the war stories, the good stories, the bad stories.
Yeah.
You know,
Everything, all in between.
That was dumb when I said how
Well-
she knows, because the same way we gonna know now because you're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, no, we went through it like, but that was in a previous marriage, but it's coupled with other things. It's what killed it. You know, the money, we didn't define what's the word I want to use? Boundaries. We didn't define the borders of that relationship overlap to the business overlap. So if your business is failing, you got to have like a safe word. You know, you got to have like a something that
Yeah.
you're going to be like, whether this business succeeds massively or if it tanks, we got to be able to talk about it during that process. And I did not. It failed. It crumbled. I let things just go. You know, I was younger, much younger. And
I think your outlook on things were a little different then
Yeah.
as well.
yeah, I was 10 minutes ahead of myself, not 10
Yeah.
years ahead of
Yeah,
myself.
you're much more forward thinking now these days. I noticed.
appreciate that.
And I think that, you know, it's not to discount, like, you know, your level of maturity has a lot to do with your decision making.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, 20-something-year-old you running a business is not going to make the same decisions as 40-something-year-old you.
Excellent for the kids at home to hear, right? Because that's where I was going with it.
Why you pointed at me?
Because
'Cause you're a kid.
we just were talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to be your daddy. So like, I'm you know, it's true. The mindset of a 20-something-year-old, even if you're the owner and
Yeah.
operator of a business, to which I was,
Yeah.
is not the same as a 45-year-old person. I'm not there yet, but it's just not. And you're going to have all these experiences to mold that
Yes.
new decision-making process. So if I can give some of these guys out there that are learning and starting some of these little cheat codes, some of these little insights about some of these experiences that I've had, I still think you should go have some of the shitty experiences because they're the best learning experiences. But if I could give you a little bit more perspective on, hey, communicate more with your partner in your 20s so that you're a solid king and queen if you're building a business as you grow. You know, those things that were just the death of my marriage essentially were, you know, finances and not communicating and just being off pages. It you know, to some of you guys out there, it might be what prevents you from breaking. It might be what prevents the business from failing. It might be what prevents the marriage from failing. If you are able to talk earlier and try your best to have a broader outlook on what you're going to be in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, not in that moment, in that time, because it's going to change. You're young. Everything's going to move.
And on that note, also not to try and force something that you might think you wanted at that time, but if it feels like it's hard work and you're trying your hardest, might not be for you. Both in personal and in business. When one door closes, another one opens.
Oh, that's sweet to say.
Not every failure means you give up. Sometimes you have to have a few failures before you hit success.
I'm failing all the time. Is that bad?
You're learning all the time.
Yeah, well, I'm getting them. I get some pieces of success. I like these little things that I keep hearing around. If you fail 100 times, the one of the success is what you're going to be able to build off of, and then those 99 failures are just your learning tools for just even more successes. I like that thought. I'm just you got to get through the hard times, and it sucks.
Can we go back a little bit?
Like we want to go.
How you guys met?
Oh my God, though.
But let her say it.
Oh, I'm like
You
the
said
worst.
The wedding story.
I'm like I'm the worst at talking about it. He even knows
Because
it.
I heard it at the wedding, and I'm like, whoa, my man's, he got it. But now I want to hear it from her, because the people want to know.
The people want to know how we met.
Yeah.
The story of how we met. I wouldn't put it as eloquently as Jeremy does, because he's always very good with his words.
Don't build me up. This is your time.
Oh, no, you are. You really are. But from my own words of how we met, I will say you walked into my life at the exact right time when you needed to. And I think that we both were in a perfect position for, meeting each other. And do you want to know the specifics?
I don't know. I was there. Tell them.
Yeah. They always want to know more.
No, they want to know all the weird details.
Well, so I was, 23?
Oh, we're gonna do ages.
24?
We're gonna do ages.
I was
Oh,
all right. I
we're
was
gonna
in
do
my early 20s, and
back then.
I had actually just gotten the job working for. I just started working for the real estate lawyer, Mr. Shurkin, who was a longtime family friend. He employed my mom. He employed my dad, because we actually lived in the building that he owned, and he still owns it. And I wanted that job. I was eyeing that job. A girl in the building, Anna, she worked there, and she didn't really like the job. She didn't do too great at it. And I remember I was like, I love an office job, like I like typing. I was cool with the lady that worked there, Teresa. So I got the job when she went on maternity leave, and I ended up getting it permanently. And I'm just minding my business, working. I'm married. I had just recently gotten married January of 2014 to my ex at the time.
Well, at the time, he was your husband.
Well, at the time,
At
yes.
the time, he was your husband,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen.
we had been together for 10 years, and we had 2 kids together. They were little.
She does long relationship, okay?
Yeah.
So it's 10 plus 10.
Well, if there's one thing you need to know about me, is that I am loyal, and I was loyal to a fault in that relationship, because I probably should have let it go a long time ago, and I didn't, because I was trying to make it work. I didn't want to. Nobody wants to start over.
Like we were saying before,
Yeah.
younger, different mindset.
And it's why I say the things I drop the little nuggets that I do of don't try to force it, square peg, round hole, because from experience I learned, it wasn't the right person for me. He wasn't the right person for me, and I don't think I was right for him either. But there we were, trying to make it work, and the relationship was long dead at that point. I was just going through the motions and trying to do what was best for my kids. And
then what happened?
And then Jeremy Simpson walked through the door.
Not to put a roof on
Well, no, I didn't know who you were at the time. All I knew was that when you opened your mouth,
Didn't you
it
call me
did
an
not
asshole?
match.
And you called me an asshole right away.
No, well, yeah, you were
Yeah, call
upset
me-
when you came into
call me
the
an
office.
asshole right away. First thing, she called me
Were
an
you
asshole.
not upset when you walked into the office?
I might have been. Anytime I go to my lawyer's office.
No, it's safe to say nobody's walking into their lawyer's office happy.
Unless they're
You're
picking up a
there.
check.
You're there because you're having legal troubles. So, but I was intrigued when I asked Mr. Shurkin about you. I always remember I was like, oh, what's that guy's deal after you left? And he's like, oh, Jeremy, he was adopted. You know, his parents are white.
Like,
And he's from Colombia. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. He's about as white as I am on the inside. You know, I'm Puerto Rican, but I don't speak very much Spanish at all. And you sound kind of like me.
aw.
And you were also very interesting. I don't know, maybe I just gravitated towards your aura or whatever, you know, like these Gen
Is that
Zers
what did
say.
it? My aura?
Your aura.
My aura did it?
Yeah, I think your aura did it.
Oh, I love my aura.
I just, you know, honestly, I don't think I had anybody, nor do I, even to this day, I don't think I've ever met anybody quite like you. Like
That's when you got to put the clapping sounds.
You know, like the way you talk, your presentation, your mannerisms, you're funny, you're exciting.
She's making me blush. Jesus,
And
my brown
I'm
skin has
as-
got a little rosé on it
well,
right now.
I'm as love struck today as I was back then.
Yes.
And that is how we met.
But wait, no, that's not okay. You explain how you saw him for the first time, but then how you got to talk to him. Then, like you just walked back in and then you said,
Well,
"Hi."
so he kept coming in for his appointments.
And I was just making up appointments at that time.
And I kept acting like I wasn't interested, even though our eyes said otherwise. We kept looking at each other. You know how you know when you're flirting with somebody and you're looking at them and they're looking at you. Yeah,
Can I say it?
yeah.
You know what I'm going to say.
Say it.
Did I fuck you?
I think you did several times. You know, I'd walk by the
should I be
printer.
louder with that?
So like the way that the office, Mr. Shurkin had an office, a conference room, and the door was open, and I'd go by the printer because it was right by the conference room, and I'd just act like I had something to print, even though I didn't, just so I can catch a glimpse of you.
You should unnecessily go up on your tippy toes at the printer.
Yeah, I would do anything just to catch your eye, let you know, flirt. It was like an innocent flirtation, but I was very much.
You remember when I used to incessantly ask you out for lunch?
I know,
coffee,
as I said, like,
lunch,
I was-
coffee, lunch,
That's
coffee.
the story we want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
He would call the office and he would flirt and he'd be like, he knew I was married, but he'd be like, that doesn't mean you can't come get a cup of coffee with me. He courted me. He
Is that
was
bad?
flirting with me, pursued me. I was married, so it wasn't good.
But wait,
Wait, is that considered not being loyal?
Well, you'd have to know the whole story of my relationship up until that point.
Okay, so people don't judge, okay?
Don't judge.
Yeah.
And if you do, I really don't care because
Yeah,
you didn't know my story. You didn't know what I've been through. No, but in all seriousness,
It did.
We had gone through a lot. Me and my ex. By the time we got married, there was so much infidelity that happened between both of us.
Jesus, man, she said it. Oh, mother of Teresa.
No, but
Anyway,
be honest. Look, I was 13 when I met him.
holy
Seriously, my mom had died,
It was like,
and I went to a public school.
I know
and
we weren't going to talk about the diddler, but that's like
the diddler.
yeah,
Let's not talk about the
my
diddler.
God.
But anyways, yeah. Long story short, he wasn't in love with me, and I wasn't in love with him. We were holding on to the idea of a family. We both wanted to keep our family together, but there was no love there. And if I hadn't met you, that relationship would have fallen apart on its own, regardless. It probably would have just died a slow, agonizing death.
Did I just put a little?
Oh yeah. It would, but it would have died a slow, agonizing death. It was already dying.
I want you to take a moment and
There
toast
was
to that.
already necrosis setting in on that relationship.
Necrosis.
Yep.
I love your vocabulary.
So
No.
you can't kill what's already dead.
I will say this about loyalty, just going to back so that we don't get the people. Oh, she said she was loyal. She was,
That's why I said
outside of her marriage. Look, for me, loyalty has a life in itself. You can kill it. I'm loyal, and some of my loyalties got killed by the actions of others.
Yeah.
I don't think loyalty is an undying trait that you got to sit there and be burnt, drowned.
Well, yeah, I know.
Doused in
But a lot of
pain.
people do equate that, you got to be long suffering. You just put up with everything because if you're loyal, that's what you do. No, I am loyal, but I'm loyal to the point of you're not going to continue to hurt me and I'm just going to sit here and take it. I'm going to give you enough chances until I'm done. My loyalty will have its limit.
That's a great piece of advice. Like in the beginning, we were asking what's the best advice. So you're gonna have to go and maybe come out of your comfort zone when you're involved in a business together and a family and a life and a relationship and be loyal. But you don't want to get yourself buried. That's where the guys come in. Hey, you got to be able to talk and communicate. Because you're not feeling pain for no reason. Somebody's doing it somewhere, if there is any. Just like there's happiness, there's when you're down, same shit. You got to be able to communicate, and that's it. And I know I like the story. I like always hearing that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You relive it.
Finish.
I know. Oh, you still?
We finished at the printer. What happened after the printer?
Well, no, we were on the phone calls. He started calling in.
Who got whose number?
She always because all the numbers were in the contact file, so I was able to. She would call me. I'm gonna cut in. I'm just gonna go right.
He doesn't let me finish the story.
It's okay.
No, you know what I?
No,
I do remember.
I'm gonna lead the witness. So
Okay.
I was always able to. She called me for the appointment, so I immediately had the cell phone, and then I would connect back with my cell phone, and then I would just start doing a little pursuit. Carry on.
At some point, we started emailing each other because, obviously I was.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had to keep it under wraps because I was still obviously in a relationship.
I will tell you to you, you rejected me plenty of times. I can't.
No, I know. I tried.
Shouldn't. I'm not.
For my part, I did try to resist out of my loyalty for knowing what was, wrong and right at the time. But that's where, I'm going to be cheesy. I'm going to say as much as I tried to do what was right on principle, I'm married, I can't be doing this. I felt the strong feeling of this might be the person that I've always wanted and looked for, but thought never really actually existed.
Tell them the movie reference.
What movie reference?
The eye thing.
Oh, I always like to. So I'm a big movie buff. I have yet to meet somebody who's as much of a movie buff as I am, other than my own brother. And we constantly quote movies. I live inside of movies. I love movies. They bring me comfort, and they're very relatable. And Jeremy and I now have we have our own little movie quotes inside.
Mostly Jim Carrey.
Mostly Jim Carrey. Yeah. No, but there's this one movie, Practical Magic, with Sandra Bullock. It's spooky season right now, so it's one of those movies where you play during Halloween season about witches, and there was a curse on her family, and where the man that you love will always die, and when she was young, she made her own curse. I don't know if you call it a curse. She did a spell. That's what she did. She made her own spell that made it impossible for her to fall in love because she basically made up a person. She said the man that I'm going to fall in love with, he's got one green eye and one blue. He rides a horse backwards. His favorite shape is a star. And she said, that I'm protected. I'm not going to fall in love because the man that, I'm going to fall in love with, I put a spell. He doesn't exist. I made him up. He can't be real. And I thought about you, I always think about you with that because I'm like, you can't be real. You are everything that everything that I wanted, plus what I didn't even know that I wanted. How is that even possible? That you love me with the intensity that you do. And I'm like, how is that?
This is a PG show.
But yeah, she met that guy and she fell in love with him. She didn't know it was him until she looked deep into his eyes. And she's like, one green eye, one blue. And she couldn't believe it. He was real. He was real.
So to make the clarity on for me, that's like I'm a Spanish guy.
I know,
raised by a Polish Irish family who speaks like this. I don't know what you call like this, Americanized or whatever have you. Yeah, that's the eyes thing. I like it.
Wait. So Jeremy, tell me now how you guys went on a first date. What was the first date?
The first date is
wasn't it? What happened? Not for us, though.
That's all right.
Do you actually remember our first date?
That is a.
With
It was
in
Montclair. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Montclair.
100% it
Yeah.
was.
Okay. Yeah. I just
My
wanted
first
to
date
make
was
sure.
Great. It was. Can I bust your chops?
Okay. Bust my chops?
Yeah, can I
You're
bust your
always
chops?
busting my chops.
I like busting your chops. It was a little like, you know, it was like a little. I knew it was a culture shock.
Oh.
I knew it was a culture shock immediately.
So if anybody's ever watched The Lady and the Tramp,
I didn't say that.
guess who's the tramp? No,
Am I the
but
lady?
well, there was obviously some differences in the way that you were raised and the way I was raised
Well,
and what I
preface,
was
we're also
accustomed
10
to.
years apart.
There's a lot. There's a lot of
we're 10
differences.
years apart. I was at a different stage in life,
Mm-hmm.
whatever like that. So I went to a little French restaurant in Montclair. I ordered like a bottle of wine, octopus, grilled octopus meals. I ordered all this. I'm like, but that's what I like to eat. That's what
I know.
I'm thinking.
That's
And I
normal
remember,
for
and
you.
I remember you looking at me like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, where am I? And I remember the moment to be so very wholesome
Mm-hmm.
because it was as if I knew at that moment that this is where you're supposed to be, even though you felt unfamiliar in the
Aw.
waters at that time.
Yeah.
It gradually was like where you were, no good.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're going,
Yeah.
come along, I got it.
Well, that's really the sense of our relationship in the very beginning. I felt like, where some people might be in situations where they feel like they're out of place, I felt like, wow, this is where I belong. This is where I've always wanted to be. Finally, somebody sees me and sees that, oh, you know, what are you doing here? Like, come with me. I'm going to show you a better way. And I never looked back. I never felt like I needed to look back after that.
Can I tell him? Was that same night? I don't think it was that same night.
What?
We're gonna show up with the cops.
I don't think so, and I don't think you want to go there.
I'm just gonna say it.
We're not
Just
going
say it.
into. Didn't he just say that he didn't want to go there?
Well, you went and said it wasn't PG anymore, so it was amazing. So I don't know if it was that same night.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't. But then
I'm
again, I
pretty
don't know.
sure
My
it
memory's
was.
my memory's shit. So I
I'm
don't
pretty
know.
sure it was because your ride left. I had to drive you,
Mm.
and then I drove you. Simple. See you later. An embrace, trying out intimacy where we're whichever.
Mm-hmm.
We're by ourselves, right?
Ooh, I like this.
We're just hanging out. I got my truck, and I remember the truck had a bench seat in it.
Ooh.
Strategic.
Oh yeah, that was your dad's truck, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
at the time, it was Dad's truck. He never drove it.
I
I had it
remember.
forever. That's a memorable
I
truck.
remember that white truck.
Yeah, but
I was sad when that truck
yeah,
went
baby.
away.
That white truck had some memories in it.
It did.
It did. One of them is this one.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go for a little bit of moment, a little bit of me time, a little bit of us time, and
That was the first night?
yeah.
Okay.
No, that was the first date. That wasn't the first
First date.
time we like met or hung out. Just so we don't, dance that line of loyalty again. It wasn't it was the first official night and date, and like we had already known each other. It wasn't like that random, But it was just such a night that we had a few extra moments, and we decided to spend them together alone. Little solitude, little seclusion in a park, and then the next thing you know, like whoop whoop,
Yep.
like, and it was like the big light came on.
Oh my
Sir,
god.
Sir, I'm like, oh, but I remember how cool and casual I was.
Yes.
You were like,
I was
swear to
mortified.
God,
I was
I swear to
mortified.
God that you were like, does this guy do this all the time? We walked out of there. I literally opened the door. I said,
Yeah.
Officer, what's going on? How can I help you tonight?
I was surprised that you were able to just talk your way out of that one.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it's pretty obvious,
Yeah.
to what the meeting was
Hey,
about.
That's what you're doing. Be praying.
Yeah, I was just praying. But I remember it. I remember he asked you, ma'am, are you okay in there? I'm like, yeah, she's fine. What? Do you remember?
No.
Yeah. He was like, he's like, are you okay?
Well, I mean,
in
that
there,
was a good cop, doing
Oh,
his
he
due
was-
diligence,
Yeah.
making
He was
sure.
like, yeah, she's fine.
she's all right.
More than
if
okay.
you would go,
Yeah.
she'll be better. But no, that was
No.
funny though. That was a. So in the beginning, it was a bunch
Those in
of
the reel of highlights.
it's real beginnings
Yeah.
stories right there. Everybody's got them, Everybody's got them. You gotta have the stories to tell, of the beginnings of relationships. It's the fun parts. It's the honeymoon stage per se, right? But I like that we carried it through. That was a decade ago.
I know.
I will still take you to that parking lot. Yeah, baby.
That kid is doing something.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Yeah. Yeah. So why not? Right. So it's all back to, it's a full circle and back to why do you think that we are able to be how we are in a business, in a family, as mom and dad, as our own husband and wife? How are we, how would you define how we're able to juggle it?
We're able to juggle it because we have enough differences and commonalities with each other, and we both are driven by pretty much the same
Which is?
desires,
Which are?
which is love and family.
Yes, baby. I knew you'd say it. That's what I am as well.
Yeah.
Right? So all these new, like
Love and family carries us through everything.
Every single thing.
Every single thing. The business, our home life, navigating what's going on with the kids, our parents, everything.
it's the weirdest thing.
It's what we come back to
It's the
time
weird-
and time again.
Exactly. So like our wedding, our marriage, our kind of leveling up in our relationship and business actually only happened when I stopped thinking so much about the money coming in the door. How can I do better at this? Like it was fucking me up. I was clouded. It wasn't well. Like, you know what? That's not who I was. That's not what I'm about. And we flipped it, and we did. Let's just clean ourselves. Let's just focus on us and everything else grow around it. And sure enough, we're off the back of our most successful years, like the last 2 years, probably
Yeah.
in 15 years of business, by stopping focusing on what that dollar looked like and having other things matter. And it really put it into perspective. And then what do you know? The money came through just the same, if not better.
Yeah.
Love that.
Love it as well.
That's like, it's a wrap for this. But it's not a wrap for us, because as soon as
No.
we click these lights off and go home, we're going to go make some dinner. We're going to go.
You said you was gonna go to the parking.
Oh, no, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. I said we're going to go home, make
Yeah.
some dinner. We're going to go, do mom and dad
Then we've
tasks.
upgraded from the parking lot since then.
Yeah. And then after, perhaps I'll take you for a drive. We'll go to a parking lot. I'll treat you real nice. No, I'm happy to say we've upgraded from the parking lot.
Give you the best 2 minutes of your life.
No, we call it okay wienering.
Okay, wienering. Oh my God, I didn't know we were sharing that on there. No, you got to see the
Gosh,
picture that
okay,
goes
gosh.
along with that.
So that's it for today. I can't thank you enough for coming. We got to do another one. We're gonna dive deeper. We're gonna take we're gonna see
Am I
comments
going to
and
be
questions.
a recurring guest?
I want you to
Yeah?
be.
Yes,
We're
yes.
going to see and make sure that people comment and ask certain questions about the wife, husband, boss lady, boss combo. I want to. That's going to be out there rampant for people to ask questions on, or knock us on, or bust our chops, whatever you want to do. Let's just hear about it. We'll have you back. We'll answer all these questions. We'll keep doing it because you ain't going anywhere. I ain't going anywhere. We're going to keep going. We're going to do this till
I look
the
forward
wheels
to
fall
it.
off.
Yep. Rock it
Yeah.
till the wheels fall off.
So again, guys, thank you again for being here on this Blue Collar Hustle. And don't forget to unleash your hustle, people. Go make it happen.